Well, hello and welcome to this free debt video course. I'm John Nicholas, and if you are stressed out, maxed out, or even wiped out by too much debt, this course is for you. We'll be following the outline of my recent Amazon #1 new release book, Debt Free ASAP. It's all about how to know your options, create a plan, and start changing your life within 48 hours. Now, in the process, I'll be sharing my story of going from high-flying entrepreneur to being jobless, broke, and buried in debt. So I know how debt feels, how it can happen to anyone, and how to recover in a variety of ways. I've also worked inside the debt industry, so I can help you avoid the most common mistakes, scams, and cookie-cutter programs. Now, this course is going to give you everything you need to succeed, including some free tools and resources, and a chance to get my personal assistance if you like some help. So with that said, let's get you going now with a quick look at the 5 deadly effects of debt and why yours has got to go. Yes, debt really sucks. Financially, it can drain our money and put us on a never-ending hamster wheel. Emotionally, debt is depressing because it's literally negative every day. Mentally, debt can dominate our thoughts and poison our hopes and dreams. Relationally, debt can stress out couples, break up families, and scar children for life. And even spiritually, debt is the opposite of freedom and abundance, which is why we need to break free ASAP. Let's start by looking at how we got here. First, with the most common causes of debt, a bit about my story, and of course, your situation. Some folks think that only careless people fall into debt, but the truth is there are 7 very common causes. Retirement, job loss or business failures, medical emergencies, disabilities, and illnesses, divorce or separations, unforeseeable events like 9/11, the Great Recession, hurricanes, tornadoes, or of course, COVID-19, student loans. And finally, yes, our own bad plans, habits, and decisions can get us into debt. Lord knows most of us have made a few, but they're usually just part of the story. So keep all these causes in mind as we consider my story and yours. My debt story started here. Before 9/11, I was a sports media company co-founder, living near the beach in LA, jetting around to meet fancy ad agencies and Fortune 500 clients. But after the towers fell, our sponsors and advertisers were paralyzed right when we needed them most, as we had just sold our company to a big firm that expected big results right away. A month or so later, after some disappointing meetings in New York City, I stood near Ground Zero one night, watching work crews clearing the wreckage. As I thought about the many souls who perished there, I wondered if I might also be doomed. I got my answer soon enough when our parent company decided to cut costs, starting with me. Suddenly, I was devastated, jobless, embarrassed, broke, and soon buried in new debt on top of old, ignorant about my options, trying to do it all myself, too proud to ask anyone for help. I was also in limbo, waiting to learn if I might win the CEO position I had applied for at a great nonprofit organization in Knoxville, Tennessee. But their executive search process dragged on for months with phone interviews, psychological tests, elimination rounds, and finally 2 separate trips to visit their board of directors, including one with my wife invited as well, as I became one of their finalists. If I got the job, my finances would be instantly cured by a healthy income. But sadly, I was their runner-up, their number 2 choice. Talk about feeling like a loser. I had put all my eggs in one basket, and now I was a broken mess. My recovery began with a decision to face my situation and take serious action, using one of the solutions I will share when we discuss all your options in a few minutes. Then I took more action and some risk when a friend invited me to join him in Dallas, Texas, to help build his small real estate company, even though I wasn't in real estate, and I would have to leave my family and go live in his spare bedroom to make sure I could survive. This was at the age of 44. But it was an opportunity, and since I didn't have a plan or a vision of my own, I was able to share my friend's vision, and we steadily built our little firm into the #1 sales team in Texas, #2 in the U.S. per Wall Street Journal rankings. This allowed me to build a whole new life. But it might never have happened without a visit to the little lake you see in this photo, for reasons I'll share when we talk about your vision for your future in just a minute. But that's not the end of my debt story. Oh no. After working 15 years in real estate, I chose to work at a national debt relief company in an office just like this photo. I had learned a lot about debt on my own and as a broker and business owner, but I wanted to learn more. And I also wanted to help people in financial distress. Sadly, I soon learned the debt relief industry is full of cookie-cutter programs, high-pressure sales tactics, and very little honest consultation. It turns out the only options these companies offer are the ones they're selling. I hated it, I felt sorry for my customers, and I had to leave that business behind. Then, a year or two later, something happened in the middle of 2020 when I spent a few days by myself at a local lake as a Father's Day gift from my family. This is when COVID was killing thousands of Americans every day, and millions around the world were mourning the death of George Floyd. These were heavy times, so I wanted to do some soul searching to figure out how I could help. So I went to the lake to work on a few projects I had in mind, but I was quickly detoured and inspired to help people struggling with debt. This time with a new and better and truly spectacular way, starting with the book I started writing right there on the spot called Debt Free ASAP. At the heart of it all was a simple 3-step protocol to assess your situation, review your options, and create a plan with whatever support you need to succeed. My approach would offer simple yet professional guidance using real-life conversations, stories, and examples we can all relate with a customized approach to review all the leading recovery options so you can pick the best one for your situation. So I wrote the book, released it in January, and watched it become the Amazon #1 new release book in multiple categories with positive reviews and steady sales. And now with this video course, just in case you'd rather watch a video than read the book. So let's take step #1 and assess your situation. We'll look at your numbers and your outlook, then your options and your best plan. So first, your numbers and your outlook. Your assessment starts here with your debt load, meaning a basic list of all the credit accounts that you have, the total balance, minimum monthly payment, and the interest rate you've got for each. Why? Because you need to assess your situation. Some people know their numbers down to the penny, but most people don't. We're too busy, too depressed, or too disorganized to keep accurate track, especially when we're struggling. I've talked with people who swear they have $12,000 of debt who actually have $25,000 once everything's added up. I once helped an overwhelmed couple who thought they had around $90,000 of credit card debt, but they ended up having almost $170,000 racked up on 27 different accounts, including multiple cards with the same creditors. And this did not include car or home loans. So it's super important to see clearly what you're dealing with. To help you do that, I've created the form you see here, and you can get both a printable PDF form or the Excel form to use for free. I'll tell you how to get yours in just a minute. Next is your net worth, which equals all your assets or things of value that you own minus all your debts to determine whether you have positive or a negative net worth. This is important to know, first, to get a reality check on your finances, but also to see if you own assets that can be sold or leveraged to help eliminate your debt. Here again, we've got a free form to help you pull this together, and I give you a lot more to think about in my book when it comes to your net worth. Next is your monthly P&L, which stands for profit and loss, or what can be called your income and expense report, to list every bit of income you receive and every kind of expense you incur. This is a report, not a budget, although it can help you create a budget. Similar to the debt load form, it helps you see everything accurately, to look for ways to cut costs, add income, and get a clear view of your monthly cash flow. By the way, One thing I frequently see is whopping big car or truck payments that burn up way too much of people's monthly budget, forcing them to use debt for basic living expenses. Once you see that, or other budget-busting items that stand out, you can explore ways to downsize, trade in, etc., to help turn your finances around. Naturally, I discuss a lot more about these topics in the book, but you can also email me with questions about your car expenses or anything else through my website. And you can get this P&L form along with the others at zoomdebtfree.com, which you can see right there as the last bullet. zoomdebtfree.com to get these free forms so you can start pulling everything together. The last set of important numbers come from your FICO credit score. FICO stands for the Fair Isaac Corporation that created the scoring system back in 1989 to help creditors assess the risk of lending to potential borrowers. It's still the dominant report in the field. Now, the graphic here shows what factors are weighed most heavily. 35% is based on your payment history, which makes sense. They don't want anyone skipping payments or being late. 30% is based on the debt amounts, usually the amount of debt load compared to the credit limit. The higher, the lower the score. 15% is based on account history, just kind of seeing how things are historically. 10% is for the mixture of different kinds of credit lines and new hits, new credit pulls or new accounts. Those things affect you as well. Now, you can also see how different scores break into different descriptions, from poor to exceptional. Now, I give lots of tips and insights to improve your score in this chapter of the book, but a few key takeaways are right here. Avoid late payments and high balances because they are credit killers. Don't close accounts after you pay them off either. Okay, it's good to keep those credit limits open and available. It's good to keep a mix or a variety of accounts active and be careful about new accounts or running your credit. Now, you can request a free report each year with no impact to your scores, but I recommend creditkarma.com for a free real-time reporting service that you can check any day, anytime. It's totally secure and it's totally free. It's yours. You can check your accounts and just see how they're trending. I must warn you that the FICO score given there or through a lot of other popular services are not necessarily the same version of the FICO score as a mortgage lender might use, or a car dealer might use, or even insurance companies use something different. So just be advised about that. But pay attention to your FICO score, as I'm sure you know. Now, before we talk about your outlook, which is a huge part of your successful recovery, let me say there's much more to your financial situation than just numbers. When I consult someone, I ask about family dynamics, job situation, and other possible stress or decision points. For instance, someone taking care of grandma, or an autistic child, or an unemployed spouse, because everything matters. As you may hear me say when asked questions about finances, everything depends on everything. There is no one-size-fits-all solution or an easy answer or so-called expert opinions about what to do, because every situation is unique, and the best solution depends on a mixture of facts, figures, and personal matters. One of the most important keys to recovery is your mindset, which needs to shift from being stuck in a hole to climbing out of it. Our minds crave clarity, they need direction, and they love to be decisive. We literally need to change our minds. This is what the old word repent means, to change our mindset and direction. My greatest experience with this came when I was just 16. After I crashed my mother's car into a house during a Halloween night car chase with police. I got thrown in jail and kicked off my high school football team. Thankfully, no one got hurt, but I was totally devastated, aimless, and hopeless. I was a dumb jock with mediocre grades, limited athletic ability, and no real direction. But I looked in the mirror and decided to change my mind, change my actions, started studying like never before, training like never before, and the results came fast. Within a year, I was an A student, a team captain, and an LA Times All-Star being recruited by colleges like Harvard and Brown universities. And the rest is history for me. But everything changed because I changed my mindset. And you can too. You can change your mind and change your life. Now let's talk about your spirit, because God knows the borrower is slave to the lender, and that debt breeds a poverty spirit. This is why God commanded the children of Israel to forgive debts, release slaves, and restore lands to those who had lost them every 50 years in what was called the Year of Jubilee. Sadly, rich people stopped following that law, but it speaks to our need for financial freedom. So I encourage you to seek God's amazing grace and guidance to recover. You can start by avoiding words of judgment like always and never. For instance, if you ever say, "I'm always in debt," or "I never have enough money," or similar statements about yourself or others, because the power of life and death are in your tongue. So be careful and positive with your words, and you will enjoy a renewed spirit with greater freedom and abundance. I guarantee it. Finally, let's talk about vision. There's a proverb that says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." And I can tell you that history and experience tell us the same thing. And vision often dies when we are struggling financially, but we need vision to recover. The power of vision draws us upward and onward, magnetically drawing us toward the destination we envision. It's beyond simple goals or plans. Those things take shape to realize visions, such as when President John F. Kennedy shared his vision to put men on the moon. Then came the target date, plans, goals, and countless steps to make it happen. Vision is your ability to see the future with imagination. With imagination, Gustav Eiffel and his company built the world's most popular monument. Walt Disney created characters, films, and the happiest place on earth. With imagination, Mother Teresa brought loving mercy to the poorest of the poor all over the world. Berry Gordy created a hit music assembly line at Motown Records after working in the Ford Motor Company assembly line. Steve Jobs gave us new technology with simplicity and style. Meanwhile, Oprah has reached, touched, and empowered millions with imagination. While Elon Musk has built sexy electric cars and is aiming for Mars. So now, let's go back to that pond I told you about, where I caught a life-changing vision and where you can do the same. It's a place called El Dorado in McKinney, Texas, where I stopped one day to eat lunch by the pond. After seeing hundreds of neighborhoods all over Dallas, I was still searching for a place to move my family. I didn't know El Dorado was named after a mythical city of wealth and opportunity that had drawn treasure seekers into the jungles of South America for centuries, but I sensed something special about this place and was suddenly captivated by a vision to live there ASAP. Which, of course, was totally impossible, since I was just starting to make money again and couldn't qualify for any loan at the time, let alone one for a nice home. But still, I explored the area. I saw it was filled with beautiful custom homes of various styles, shapes, and sizes, including one with heavy castle doors and fixtures imported from England, built by the visionary creators of Barney and Friends, the longtime PBS children's show. So I kept searching the area, inspired by my vision and by a mustard seed of faith that somehow, some way, anything was possible. Then I noticed a stately brick home that was love at first sight. It had a for sale by owner sign sitting out front, an owner that I immediately called, then met and shared my story with, who agreed to let me lease his home right away with no money down and to buy it whenever I could, which would happen in less than a year as my vision kicked our recovery into overdrive. Now, I had always believed that vision leads to provision, and that as we pursue our dreams, we attract unseen resources, contacts, and opportunities. I had seen it happen before, but this was amazing. And here's the good news for you. Vision is contagious. My friend's vision for our company led me to my own, and my vision can ignite yours, whatever yours might be or look like. So I'm praying you catch a vision for your life, your work, your family, your destination, to see your future with imagination and let it draw you upward and onward towards your ultimate recovery and prosperity. Now let's look at the 7 debt recovery options that can get you there. The first one is what I call the high-low payoff plan, which is outlined on my 7 debt solutions cheat sheet you see right here. And you can get it free if you want a copy. It actually comes with the free assessment forms we talked about. Now, this is a systematic way to prioritize and eliminate your debts one at a time, whether you target an account with your highest interest rate or your lowest balance. The key is to focus on each account that you target and throw extra money at it if you can to pay it off quickly and gain momentum and gain extra money you save. Since you don't pay that account anymore because it's zeroed, now you can add that money towards paying off other accounts to free those up and continue on, one right after another. I suggest you knock out low balance accounts first because they take less time and it's fun to watch them go away fast. That's when you can dance, shout, or say boom to whoever's around to celebrate with you, even if it's just your dog or cat or whatever you've got. I've done that many a times myself. Now, this program starts with organization by filling out the debt load form we looked at earlier. So get it, fill it out, and target your first account for elimination. Next is debt consolidation, where your objective is to shift high-interest debt into low-interest loans or balance transfer cards or into a debt management program if you don't qualify for a loan or a card, because those do require pretty good credit scores and debt-to-income ratios. Anyway, if you do go with a management program, which is where you pay one amount each month, they break it up and send it out to your various creditors that they've hopefully negotiated a lower interest rate, lower payment plan, whatever. Be advised that these programs, they charge a certain fee and they have requirements. You need to evaluate those to make sure they fit your situation and your best interest. But whatever kind of consolidation approach you select, it will reduce your overhead with lower monthly payments, and you will essentially reorganize your finances, which is good. It means you're actively managing your affairs, not just sitting around paralyzed or spiraling out of control or even in total denial. You can pay off your debt faster this way, which is what ASAP is all about. The third option is called a hardship payment program for when you really need some help. These programs used to be hush-hush, if not top secret, because creditors didn't want people knowing about them. But many creditors have openly offered them the last couple of years to help borrowers they know are in financial distress. Now, these programs are usually offered after you've missed 2 or 3 payments. This indicates you're in serious trouble and not just a little late or behind, so that creditors would rather try to work with you to save you rather than lose you and have a total loss on their hands. Now, this means your credit has already taken a beating and you're just trying to survive, not really trying to protect your credit score per se. I share more about this process in my book, but you can basically ask for the hardship program or the hardship department with most creditors. And this gets you around the usual collection cycle. Now, hardship programs can lower or defer your interest, sometimes down to single-digit interest rates or even to zero. And they can substantially reduce your payments. Your accounts will be closed by the creditor if they're not already closed for being late. But this approach can offer serious relief. Option number 4 is family assistance. If you have family members who might be willing and able to help you tackle your debt. Now, please note the able part of that equation, because I've spoken with far too many parents who burn through their retirement savings or accumulate their own debt trying to help their kids deal with their debt. So don't risk hurting vulnerable family members just to save your own skin. What I outline in my book is that you present your situation using our 3-step protocol by presenting a clear view of your situation, your best recovery options, and your plan in a well-organized manner to whoever might be willing to help, rather than simply beg or ask to borrow money. Sharing a well-organized plan helps you build trust and confidence, especially if you've borrowed or struggled before. It can also create some team support for you if they understand your game plan. And if your family can help, I also recommend you write and sign an agreement clearly stating the expectations, the dates, amounts, and some interest for any loans you might receive, just to respect and reward your family members' support. Next is debt settlement, which means you negotiate reduced payoff balances with your creditors, either directly on your own or through a settlement company. Your accounts have to be several months past due to qualify, usually with a valid hardship explanation to get a creditor's agreement. The settlement process can be stressful, but the savings can be 40 to 60% off of what you owe. That's a lot of savings, but there are plenty of potential hazards involved, including legal actions that are rarely discussed by settlement company salespeople, and lasting marks on your credit profile. So I recommend you consult with me or another settlement expert before you hire a firm or try doing this yourself. Next on our list is bankruptcy, Chapters 7 and 13. Now, both forms of bankruptcy provide you with legal protection from your creditors, so they can't call or sue you, garnish your wages, or try to repossess from you during the process. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is a quick 6-month process if you have a lower income and limited assets. Now, it requires you to pay as much as you can to your creditors as directed by the court. But most of your assets and income are protected, meaning you can keep most of your possessions and what you make. Now, this allows many debtors to get their debts discharged or basically canceled out and pay little or nothing to creditors. Meanwhile, Chapter 13 is for higher income debtors with assets that can require 3 to 5 years of court-ordered payments in what they call workout plans. These are similar to the bankruptcies you may hear about with businesses, where the court allows the Chapter 13 debtors to reorganize their debt and propose a discounted payment plan to their creditors over time, and to keep as many of their assets as possible. Now, there are legal costs and other requirements, including courses you need to take before and after you go through bankruptcy, either Chapter 7 or 13. So it's no walk in the park. Now, I went through Chapter 7 bankruptcy during my post-9/11 period of unemployment, after I tried and failed to manage consolidation and hardship programs. After all, I had no income, and that certainly doesn't help. Now, no one wants to go through bankruptcy, but it does allow you to stop the madness, get organized, and start over. And you can usually rebuild your credit within a year or two. Now, if you'd like to learn more or you need help finding a good attorney, let me know and we'll try to help. Our last debt solution is what I call status quo, which means doing nothing. In certain cases, this is the best approach, whether for retired or disabled debtors with limited income or assets that cannot be touched, or younger people preparing to buy a home, or anyone waiting for circumstances to unfold, whether a new job, a layoff, anticipated settlements, inheritances, or the like. Now, I share one story in my book about an older gentleman who wanted to deal with his debts, but it turned out his debts were so old they had been written off and discharged. Once again, my motto is everything depends on everything, meaning you must consider all the factors and each situation is unique. The last bullet you see here is the web address to get this 7 solutions cheat sheet. It comes with the free assessment forms you can request at zoomdebtfree.com. This brings us to your recovery plan. Whether picking your best option to create a plan, answering some common questions, or getting support to keep your eyes on the prize of becoming debt-free. So once you properly assess your situation, your numbers and your outlook, and you review the pros and cons of each recovery option, it's time to pick one, create your plan, and get moving. Each option will present its own next steps to take, whether it's selecting your first account to pay off, seeking a consolidation loan or card, contacting a credit hardship program, family member, settlement negotiator, bankruptcy attorney, or whatever the case may be. Keep it simple, stay organized, and take it one step at a time. Commit yourself, and you'll be fine. Now, I understand there are lots of questions that pop up about scams, student loans, cars, taxes, collection calls, medical bills, mortgages, how to get a copy of your credit report, and more. Now, I cannot address all of them here, but I try to in Chapter 13 of my book, which again, you can get on Amazon or from other bookstores or from my website. It's inexpensive as an ebook or a paperback, but if you cannot afford that, contact me through my website and request a free copy of Chapter 13, and we'll email it to you. Just Chapter 13, no problem. Happy to do it. Now, I will share one tip here about how to avoid scams. First rule, of course, is to avoid any conversations you did not start or request. Don't get sucked into financial conversations or attractive offers, or especially ones that seem too good to be true. Now, this means you ignore all the snail mail offers, phone calls, emails, TV commercials, etc., unless you request information based on your own research or from solid referrals or recommendations. Now, one recent scam that is fairly prevalent comes from seemingly legitimate companies. They offer wonderful sounding loans to basically save the day for you, okay? Now, they're doing this even though they know and you know that you don't qualify for a loan. Your situation just does not match up. So why would they waste their money contacting you anyway? The answer is to hook you into requesting a loan. They want you asking about that magical loan, which of course fails. But it means they've got you, and they can tell you about a settlement program or some other lucrative program. And by lucrative, I mean it's lucrative for them, not you. So beware. Feel free to request Chapter 13 and let me know if you have personal questions. I'm happy to help. Now let's talk about you reaching your debt-free finish line and being victorious by getting the support you need to succeed. It's been said that one warrior can take on 1,000 foes, but two can send 10,000 to flight, which means there's strength in numbers and multiplied power in our fellowship with others. Now, I have written about the 7 virtues of coaching, and they include personal attention, expertise, discipline, encouragement, enthusiasm, fellowship, and positive results. All valuable things we need to succeed. So whether it's me or some other knowledgeable coach, mentor, or advisor, I encourage you to get some real support. So, what do I mean by keep your eyes on the prize? I mean, your success requires vision, endurance, and determination. Because just like diet or exercise programs, debt recovery doesn't happen easily or overnight. ASAP means as soon as possible, right? Sometimes we think ASAP means instantly, but we're wrong. I like to talk about marathon runners who look ahead to that point of utter exhaustion called hitting the wall near the end of each marathon. They know it's there, they know it's inescapable reality, so they prepare for it mentally, emotionally, and by planning their diet, their hydration, and even the placement of their coaches and cheering supporters at strategic locations on their course to help them conquer the wall and reach the finish line. I also like to talk about celebrating victory now and then, as if each step along the way, no matter how small, is part of your ultimate victory. Visualizing your life as a champion runner or as a debt-free and prosperous person can draw you forward toward that destination. If you can see it and celebrate it now as if it's then, soon enough it will be. Now let me share how I can personally assist you if you'd like a little help. Now, how it works, the guarantee, your need for action, and my special offer to work with you. How it works is simple. You go to mydebtconsult.com and order a personal consultation with me. You will then fill out a questionnaire, we call it a Q form for short, about your situation through a secure, privacy-protected link to our site. Then schedule your call or Zoom session with me. It's just that simple. The consultation itself is for 1 hour. But before we meet, I will review your questionnaire, take my own notes, and prepare guidance for our time together. Then, after our meeting, I will send you notes about what we've covered, along with next steps from our discussion, and a reminder about a short follow-up call we will schedule for a week later, just to make sure you're doing okay, with ongoing email support following that. Your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed. And if you're not satisfied, we'll refund your full amount which causes an actual loss for us because we pay fees no matter what. So we definitely want to take care of you the right way. The only exception to this guarantee is if you don't show up for our appointment or give notice to reschedule. That's it. The important thing is to take action while this is on your mind and right in front of you. This is not the time to bury your head or say maybe later. It's time to get off your hamster wheel and start changing your life. So here's my offer and your opportunity. My regular consultation price is $147, which is quite low for financial coaching. And I normally offer a $50 discount code to anyone who buys my book. In this case, I will offer the same discount to you for watching this video, plus give you a free ebook or PDF copy of my book emailed straight to you when you order your consultation. This means your 1-hour consultation, including a free book, my personal prep, follow-up notes, and follow-up phone call, costs just $97. I'm not sure how long I can actually afford to do this, but I want to help you, and this is our best shot at doing that. So if you want my help, go to mydebtconsult.com and let's get you started. With just one last story before we go. This one about the value of expert help. And it goes way back to the early 1900s when Henry Ford ran the world's largest car manufacturing plant, and he had a huge problem. His plant was broken down by a mysterious malfunction his best engineers could not solve. Every minute that ticked by, thousands of dollars were lost, compounding into millions as hours passed. Finally, Ford called upon Charles Steinmetz, a very short and physically handicapped man known as one of the great geniuses of his day, along with names like Einstein and Tesla, to come and help. So Steinmetz came to the factory and literally slept near the massive generator that wasn't working right to listen, feel, and calculate the exact repair. Finally, he made a chalk mark on the machine and told the engineers exactly what to do. Then he left and sent a $10,000 bill, which was a huge invoice back then, to Ford the next day. Ford was outraged and refused to pay the bill, saying it was way too much to pay Steinmetz for just fiddling around. So the next day, Steinmetz sent Ford another bill, this one requesting $1 for fiddling around, and another $9,999 for knowing where to fiddle. Ford paid it without any further protest, knowing the right expertise can be worth millions. So yes, you can do this by yourself or with my help. Either way, I want to congratulate you for watching and completing this course. Here are those addresses you'll need to get the free assessment forms, to contact me, or to order your personal consultation. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope we can connect soon, and I wish you both personal and financial success. May God bless you and yours.